Hi, welcome to Word Talk. I'm your host, Trina Freeman. Um, Welcome to the show. I want to continue to talk about the incident at the Oscars. And the reason being is because I'm still getting responses for it. And at work, I like to listen to dialogues and I listened to some great conversations today that gave me a different point of view. And plus, I just like to talk. And even though this incident didn't involve me, it helped me learn something about myself. I made a post, and I got some feedback, and I was happy for the feedback. So let me start with this. The first thing that That's my cousin Jill. Oh, John. Oh, that's the genius. That's my cousin. He is literally a genius. So the first thing I wanted to say is I I stated on Facebook that I stand with Will Smith. And let me tell you why. If you hear, I have a daughter on the spectrum, so if you hear there's a noise, that's her. But listen, the reason I said I stand with Will is not because I agree with him slapping, assaulting, victimizing, however you want to say it, uh, towards Chris Rock. The reason I stand with him is because I'm a person, I don't believe in verbal assault. And you're saying, oh, get over it. He's a comedian. That's what he was paid to do. And so just get over it. I'm a person that believes words hurt just as much as a physical assault. Now, I don't know Pinkett Smith. I don't know what she's doing today. She could be like over it partying with her husband or something. But I'm just basing all of this off of her reaction to the joke at the time. I don't go to comedy shows. And I'm not going to say I don't like comedians because I think it's an art to be able to make people laugh. And I love to laugh. But when you go to a comedy show, you are susceptible to, especially if you sit in the front, they may call you out. They may make fun of you. And I don't like that. I don't want to be made fun of because I'm one of those, I take words seriously. And not only that, this is just me making fun of a medical condition, whether you feel it's serious or not, is serious to that person. Um, she may be rocking it, but I did follow her during that time, and she talked about how you know she talked about her experience and how painful it was to lose her hair and all of that. So that's where I'm coming from. And I mean, as a spouse, I mean, he was right there with her. A lot of people commented on them being so open with their life, and basically, you're so open with your life, this is what you get. I don't think so. I don't think one thing has to do with the other. Um, I don't think one thing has to do with the other. What's up, West Coast? This is another one of my cousins. I'm gonna get her on um, live one day. I mean, she can pull an audience like no other. So I'm gonna have to get you out here one day. But she like I said, I don't know her personally, but that's just the way I feel. Summer. That's just the way I feel. I just don't like to be the butt of anybody jokes. And from her reaction, it wasn't welcome. I have a problem with the Oscars. My mind, I can't I can't understand roasting. I can't understand why you would hire somebody to insult somebody. And when I watch the awards, you can tell some of these celebrities when their turn to be roasted. You can tell some of them are embarrassed, But what are they going to do? They're at the Oscars. They're not going to probably won't do what Will did. That's a bold thing to do. They probably won't even do what Jada did because she expressed her true feelings. They're going to sit there and they're going to either smile or a couple of times I just seen them not do anything at all. These glasses are making my eyes look crazy. Um, so that's the gist of it. But I listened to some very, very good conversations today. As a matter of fact, Roland Martin, I think that's his name. Martin had one, and then Claudia Jordan, Vivica Fox, um, Selena Johnson, and Lisa Ray. They also had a discussion about it. Great conversation, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation because they examined both point of views. They didn't just say, "Oh, will you're a demon and you assaulted." Personally, if it were me and I was him, I know me. I would have done something. I would have done something. I probably wouldn't have gone on stage. Nobody expected him to slap um, Chris Rock, but I would have done something. I would have stood up. I would have just made my stance in that moment at that moment. Because the thing is, to me, if he would have waited after the show, I mean, wouldn't have meant anything to his wife. Yes, he was laughing until he saw Jada's face, and I think that's why he did what he did. I read his book. I think you guys should read it. Not taken up for him, but it's a good read, and it definitely will make you laugh. It's a good read. But what I learned about him is he is not at all what I expected. I mean, he's still a good dude, but he is not all what I expected. I expected he came. First of all, I thought he was an only child raised by his grandmother, but he's not. I think it's six siblings altogether. He was raised by his mother and his father, and his father was an abuser, and his father was a hard man. Um, if you read the book, you'll find out that there was an incident where his father hit his mother and knocked her down, and he said he was there, and from that moment, from that one moment, he deemed himself a coward. He deemed himself as a coward, which was crazy because if you read the book, he did a lot of courageous stuff. The mind is amazing. He did a lot of courageous stuff, but he deemed himself a coward. So he always had this I have to prove that I'm going to protect you thing, and he is a perfectionist, not saying that's an excuse for his behavior. But what I'm saying is there's a root to everything. And I have to tell on myself, I can relate to that because at one time I had that mentality because of where I come from, where my roots are. You know, I felt like you had to touch hands to resolve things. I wasn't raised to resolve things in love. I was raised to resolve things in disciplines. And it's a big difference. But what I could sit here and lie and say I grew up, I matured and all that. No, what helped me was accepting the Lord Jesus Christ into my life. And by studying the word and pursuing after Christ, my mentality began to change. And once your mentality begins to change, your perception begins to change. So in a book, Will talks about his life, very interesting life. It seems like he was blessed. Seemed like everything was just easy for him. But he talks about how like he couldn't shut his mind off. And he went to, I think, Jamaica or something one time. Like I said, very funny. He talked about Jamaica and he went to the island somewhere and he just could not rest. I mean, come on, it's obvious that we can see he's been going through something over his life. The stuff that he and his wife went through, does it have anything to do with that? I mean, that's his wife. I'm sure it contributed, but the root of it was from his childhood. I don't really know anything about Chris Rock. I didn't read up anything about Chris Rock, but I'll say this. Comedians are can be dangerous. Words, hurting words last longer than a physical assault. Again, not excusing it. But this is my point. Don't just look at half of the story and say, oh, Will. You have to look at the beginning. And the beginning was if Chris wouldn't have said anything, we wouldn't have an incident. and everybody's like, oh, well, Jada's had an affair and this and that. So I'm not going to say poor Jada. Nobody's saying that Jada is innocent. What I'm saying is at that moment, she felt some kind of way. She wasn't laughing at the joke. That's my point. At that moment, she wasn't laughing at the joke. So I just wanted to come and clarify that. Uh, some people put up scriptures to share their point of view. And as believers in Christ, we're always to pray for everything. I pray for all three of them, you know. And I was looking at everything today and I'm like, you know what? It's not Will Smith that's taking the attention off everybody. It's us, it's the media. Because today everybody's still talking about it. Everybody's still talking about it. We're not talking about those people who won the Oscars. We're not talking about any of that. And mainly the media, the ones with the big audiences. They're not talking about that. They're talking about Will Smith. So they contribute too to taking the attention off the Oscar winners. Has my perception of Will Smith changed? No. Why? Because he's human. He's human. He just chose the wrong moment to show that he's human. All this time, you remain calm. You maintain your composure, and you choose this time to allow this to come out. Well, that means it's always been with them. I mean, sometimes you just can't hide it and it comes out. But I'll say this, um, I believe that God has his hands in everything. And I believe God has a time for everything. There's a time for everything. So I was thinking today, what if this was God's time for Will to come to him? What if this was God's time for Will to cry out to him? Because if you read the book, it appeared that like I said, being a perfectionist, it appeared that he was self-reliant a lot and things came to him easily. He professed to know God, but not really. He went on a search for peace in all of this and all of these dangerous stunts he does. You can tell he's searching for something. So like I said, I'm not excusing his behavior, but what I applaud, and this is from my personal opinion, what I applaud is that he was willing to be bold and take a stand for he went against the majority because nobody would have said anything. He took a stance and went against the majority to defend his wife. Whether it was the right time or not, I still applaud that because no one yet. Well, I watched the discussion. You can find it on YouTube. Roland had a discussion, and one I think she was a therapist or something. Her name is Avis. She pointed out some very good points, and she also pointed out nobody's talking about Chris as the root of it. You know, all those people in the audience, why did you have to talk about her? You are a professional comedian. You can make fun of somebody's shoes. Like I said, it's just, I believe it's just one of those things that God said, you know what? I know this is getting ready to happen, so I'm going to use it. You know, maybe if Will had won that Oscar and nothing had gone down, you don't know. Maybe he would have never gotten the help that he needed, you know. And sometimes God will expose you. Sometimes he will expose you on a level where you don't want to be exposed, you know. And I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he's so-called tried to hide it. I just think that he wanted to maintain a certain image for, and that was said in the book as well. He was very open in the book. He was very open and honest in a book. I just think that he wanted to maintain his image for his career. Um, and I also think he understood that he has fans, you know, people that work hard to support him and blah blah blah. He didn't want to let any of them down. He's a person that carries a lot on his shoulders. And I just think at this time, for whatever reason, it all came crumbling down. But again, I think it's time God's time for him to say, Will, I'm calling you to cry out to me. Hey Elizabeth. So that's what I think about the whole thing. Do I think Chris is a bad person? No, I just think that comedians are can be dangerous, and I think they have too much freedom in the name of a joke. You know, like I said, everybody doesn't think it's okay. But I'm gonna tell you what I learned about myself. So after this, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. I've come to rest with it. I had a lot of listening today, and I'm able to talk about it. But what I learned about myself is I have grown. Yay! Because a while ago, my former self, I'd be having so many arguments right now because I was so opinionated and one track minded. But what I realized, and you can go and read my post, what I realized is that everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to feel like Chris was the victim in this. And again, I'm not condoning Will slapping Chris. Um, Everybody has their opinion, and I totally respect that. I had a few comments on YouTube and wherever I was today, and they came for me. But I was like, I respect your opinion. You have a right to your opinion just like mine. But I thank God that I was willing to stand in my opinion and in my reason. You know, I don't think it's fair that we say, hey, it's wrong for you to hit, but it's okay for you to say whatever you want to say. Not cool. Anyway, I just wanted to come out and chat with y'all. If anybody wants to come and talk to me in this few minutes, I'll send you a link. Elizabeth, you want to come in to talk? I'll send you a link real quick. I'd love to have somebody else's opinion. Are you still there? But thank you guys so much. I think what happened was, I think the camera missed this. Roland brought up the point that it was Jada's responsibility to stop him. I think what happened is, listen, when you read the book, you'll be like, oh yeah, they can. Okay, when you read the book, you'll be like, oh, she's used to this. They can take a joke. I mean, come on. Will Smith is her husband, and he plays some pretty harsh pranks. I think what happened was he was laughing, but then when he saw her face, I think that's what kind of like, okay, you know, I mean, he loves his wife. Love does make you do some crazy things sometimes. But like I said, I just think it's God saying, Will, it's time for you to cry out for me. Because, I mean, you can see he's not at peace, and I don't think he's been at peace for years. I don't think he's been at peace for years. A lot of celebrities like Whitney Houston, they carry weight on their shoulders. They feel like they deem themselves a savior to take care of their families, what have you. And they just take all this weight on their shoulders. And that's what I really believe. I really believe God exposed this to for Will to cry out to him. That's my opinion. You're welcome to leave a comment. Again, I thank God that I've matured because this type of stuff, even though it doesn't have to do with us directly, it still brings emotions out because we talk about it, and it still brings emotions out, So that's why I'm praising God because, like I said before, I'd have been having so many arguments, but I respect everyone's opinion because you definitely have a right to your opinion. But this is where I stand and I haven't changed it. So I just wanted to come on for a few minutes and talk about that. Thank you guys for joining me. Please share my video. I love you, and I will see you guys next time.